Y'all probably don't know this. But I like to look at a lot of YouTube shows that don't have to do with lesbian shit. But have to do with the history that I was taught as an elementary schooler, junior high schooler, and college student. A lot of this shit that we've been taught, to college. College, I kind of figured that these motherfuckers was giving their angle on it. But a lot of the shit we was taught was out of books. And the books that we were taught with and to utilize was old as dirt. So it made us feel like, all right, we getting taught some real history. But did y'all ever check the actual books? I say all that to say this. Being woke is one thing. Being educated is another. But checking your information, I mean, that shit right there. Because even if you go to the books, they say that internet is one thing, like, oh, everybody's going to believe what everybody puts out. Nobody checks their sources. But that's the same thing we did as kids. You gave us books. We trusted the books. We had to educate ourselves on a system where we just had to take test after test after test after test to the point where everything was embedded. And we had to get a huge test so that we all collectively had the same mind frame. That being said, I'm unlearning that process, and I'm realizing that people like Dane Calloway on YouTube, y'all gotta check him out. He's good. And people like Dick Gregory, and people who actually have been through the experience or really go through the actual research and pay the funds to get the real information, the real text, the real nitty gritty, need to be supported. And not just supported in a way where you give them money, but in a way where you support educating each other. And I don't want to use the word education, informing each other about what the fuck was going on and what is going on and what the plan is. But yeah, I will be sharing from another brother that I like to watch is Dane Calloway, and this is one of his YouTube videos, but I want y'all to listen to this part.
Since they are financing the education of the Negro, they have the right to direct it as they will. The education of the Negro, therefore, has been largely a process of telling the Negro what someone else wants him to say or do, and watching him do it in automatic fashion.
Nah.
Clear as day. The General Education Board, anytime you're researching the past, you see the word General Education Board. That was the forerunner to the Rockefeller Foundation. That was his name before it became called Rockefeller Foundation. It was Rockefeller's foundation, the General Education Fund. It's just that it was just that, an education fund. It says the General Education Fund in dealing with the problem